Are you tired of being sick and tired with your money and your finances? If so, stay tuned. I have something special to share with you. Hi, this is Natasha with SoulByNat.com, bringing you a special treat today. I have Melinda here.
Hello.
And I'm telling you, I'm so excited to have Melinda here. Thank you for coming.
Absolutely, you're welcome.
Because I didn't even go into detail about why I wanted to interview her.
So I'm a little surprised.
I didn't send her questions. I didn't send her anything, so we're just going to have a conversation. But let me first tell you why I want to interview Melinda. I just see that she is on point when it comes to finances and money, and that is the biggest area that stops people from buying homes. Fair. That's yes. Fair. And would you believe that I talk to people and they're like, I don't want to check my credit. I don't want to know.
Oh, I believe it. I was one of those people.
Yeah. So I'm like, knowledge is power. It sounds so cliche, but you need to know what you need to do to get better.
And it's never as hard as people think it is to fix.
You're right.
I've learned my own personal experiences. So
okay, so let's rewind. So first, how it came about, or how we had this conversation where it clued me in, and I was like, wow, she is really on point. So Melinda, at the beginning of the year, put on an event for teens to make them aware of the dangers with that's on the internet. Is that right? Right. So one day we met, we were brainstorming because I just love that she was doing that. I love that it was going to help kids and teens. And I was like, any way I can support you, let me help. So we got together and we were brainstorming. And at the time, she was not working, right?
That's correct.
Were you laid off or did you quit?
I was laid off. And
she was laid off. But what stuck out is like she was not concerned. She was not moved. She was
not looking for a job.
Yes, she was not looking for a job. And I'm like, most people, when you are out of a job, you are like in panic mode. And she was cool
as a cucumber.
Yes. So what was your plan at that time? You were like, well, I'm just gonna.
Well, so we found out middle last year we was being laid off.
Okay.
I made the decision to take time off.
Listen.
It was my decision. When the layoff happened, I was going to work my savings. I was going to work my severance to my advantage and stay home with my kids.
Okay.
That was the plan.
Kids. Because I know initially people might be thinking, well, she's single. She probably wanted to take care of herself. No.
She is single.
No. And how many kids do you have?
I have 3 children.
What's their ages?
18, 13. She'll be 14 tomorrow. And I have a 9-year-old.
Okay. All right. So let that sink in. Okay, so she was not moved and not in a rush.
Not shaken, not bothered, not worried, not scrambling. I was not in a position where I had to work. And
that right there is why I have her here today. And on top of that, you might think, okay, well, she wasn't working, but she probably didn't do anything. This lady travels. I mean, and she travels. I'm like talking about going to Florida.
A little bit.
Like, okay, please tell me the places that you have been this year.
Since I have not been working, I went to Turks and Caicos. Balling on a budget. We did a road trip to Tennessee. And we did that during Country Music Week, which was so much fun.
Wow, that's different.
But we went to go see Lil Duval. It just happened.
Okay.
But when I tell you, they gave Essence Fes a run for their money. Like it's
wait. Country Music Festival.
Country Music Festival
gave Essence a run for their money.
Gave Essence a good old. And when I tell y'all, I've been to Essence, and I feel like, you know, I love when our people get together. But when I tell you, New Orleans, I feel like crams us in these little square miles.
Okay.
CMA opened the whole downtown waterfront. There are games. There's free stuff everywhere. Food everywhere. Music everywhere. It's just dope.
All right. Well, that was just a little. That you got that.
And
for
I
free.
did just come back from Cuba. September. And that was so last minute.
That you were able to do it though
for like $750.
Like, so we could have a whole other video about how she travels on the budget because she does it. But let's go back to you are a homeowner, right?
I'm a homeowner.
How long have you been a homeowner?
I have been a homeowner 8 years. 8
years. Okay. So when you bought your home, what year was it?
2010.
Oh, so it was right after the market crash.
Yes, and I use that to my advantage.
Oh, so you got did you get a deal?
I got a foreclosure.
Okay. You weren't like, I don't want a foreclosure, I want something brand new.
Let me tell y'all this story.
Okay.
When I started looking for a house, right, I was like 2-story. I gotta have enough bedrooms for the kids. Let's go with a guest room.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, that's what I was looking at. Like, I think my budget at the time may have been around $140,000, $150,000, single person, just my income. I did have a boyfriend at the time who was an homeowner, and we was living with him. But I just felt like I needed a place for my own kids. I gotta start a legacy for them, right?
Mm-hmm. Legacy. Okay, go ahead.
So we put the search on pause, and I took a homeowners class during that pause, right? And I met with a lot of different people who are like in insurance and mortgaging and banking and people who come and service your home, all kind of people, just to educate you on the process, right? Because you really don't want to go into this process blindly. A lot of people say, if you are buying a new house, why do you care about inspectors? You care about inspectors. You'll learn about inspectors and warranties and piping and all roofing and all kinds of stuff. All right, so fast forward, my daughter was almost a year. I was like, okay, we got to get the ball rolling again. But things changed. And I said to myself, fully working at the time, I said, maybe I should look at homes I can afford if I did not have a job. And I was working.
What made you think that was
Let me tell you what made me think that, because I have kids. I can't never have a place to live and could lose a job and can't pay for my kids to have a home. My kids always have to have somewhere to live.
So you put that before wanting that big house.
I put it before, yes.
You put it before everything.
I put it before everything, right?
Okay.
And so I went from looking for 2 stories with super decks and all kinds of stuff, because my realtor was really good. And he has since passed away. God rest his soul. But he was such a good guy. And he was like, Melinda, however long it takes, whatever it takes. And that's what we did. And we moved around. And so we changed our scope from the 2-story to the single family homes, right? The house that I found, people say, you know it when you find it. You know it, right? You feel it, you sense it. This house was beat up. When I tell you, if I could show you the pictures, it had been vandalized.
Wow.
It had been broken into. These young kids, I assume, like had a pizza party, left boxes of pizza in the bathroom drawers, right? But I had a vision. When I saw the house, it was a corner house. The backyard, everybody else's house around me looked into the backyard. And I felt that for safety. For safety. If I'm here,
that's okay.
If I'm not here and somebody tries, because they're gonna go in the back door before they go in the front, my neighbors could see what's happening.
That's a different way to look at it.
And I was like, nice yard. I just thought, I saw beauty where a lot of people probably did not see beauty because the house was on the market for so long.
Right.
Bought the house, $79,000.
And your budget was $140,000.
Budget was $140,000. When I tell you, I literally spent half, but I loved the house. I probably, if I found something for $105,000, $100,000, if I loved it the same, I probably would have did it.
Okay.
I was definitely intent on not going at the top of my budget.
Oh, and you stuck to that.
I was intent on not doing that.
Okay, so you bought this house now. So you get into it. What's your next plan?
All right, so when I bought the house, I ended up, at that moment, there was some kind of money that you got to help rehab the home.
Okay.
So I added $10,000. So I ended up with $90,000 mortgage, right? They came in swoop. When I say a week, 2 weeks, walls up. I had the house painted inside, outside. I had the roof repaired.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, all of the stuff that was wrong with the house was definitely, it was just visual. It wasn't anything major. I had it all fixed up, new carpet. Ever since then, right, we all get income taxes.
Okay.
Right, and I'll do a little project. Counters was my first project. I put some, I should have took you some pictures. You see all the time on Instagram, probably though. I put some countertops in. And then the next income tax I did floors.
Okay.
In between those projects, you do like toilets. You know, I feel like it's almost a new house.
What could be? Oh, wow. And you did it a little at a time versus taking out
I never
alone.
had to rush. My kids were little.
Okay.
My kids were little. So, and it's really a small house. It's a 3-bedroom ranch, right? And then I start thinking, you know, people get their starter home. It's a starter home for me.
Okay.
What's next, right? And I'm like, but if my kids are growing up and leaving, do I need a what's next? I don't know if I really need a what's next, right?
Okay.
Right now, today, the mortgage is $64,000 from 90.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. And that's because every month, instead of doing, my mortgage started, I think, at like 6 something. I do $800 every month.
Wow. So you are paying less than $1,000.
Oh, way less than $1,000. My full mortgage right now is, I think, $737.
That's a beautiful thing. Now, granted, when she bought her home in 2010, so that was right after the market crash. Have you seen house prices?
My house right now, homes in my neighborhood are selling for $199. So imagine the cash I would put in my pocket if I sold. But then it's like, okay, you're starting over. What you gonna do?
But, okay. But however, plug. If you ever think about selling, you go ahead and call me.
Oh, I got you.
Okay. So that was brilliant. Before buying a home, were you always money wise?
No.
Okay, so what did it for you?
So I remember having my daughter, right? When I had my middle daughter, I remember one night around midnight, and this is a true story. I needed Pampers for my daughter, and my son was 4 and had school the next day. I had to wake up my son, take my baby daughter, infant daughter, to Kroger to write a check because I didn't have cash for Pampers, and because I know Kroger hold checks for like 2-3 days. Then
okay,
so I could get her Pampers, right? And I was like, this is crazy, right? I don't have nobody to rely on. I could call my mother, who is also a single mother. My father fares a lot better, but I've always felt like you really can't have kids and be like so super dependent on your parents when you get to be like 25, 35. And some people do. It works for some people. It's never been something I've been comfortable doing.
Okay.
That moment was like, wow, right?
You knew something had to change.
I knew I couldn't live like that. And that was not like a single time that happened. That happened multiple times.
Okay.
Not the pamper situation, but just groceries. These kids gotta eat. You can't feed your kids oatmeal. There was times I had to feed my son oatmeal for dinner because his father didn't come through. But he was little and he loved oatmeal, thank God.
So to him.
But
okay.
You know, you as a grown person with children, you make the decision to have these kids. They can't be all over the place like that. It's not fair to them.
Right.
Right. That was definitely like pivotal.
Okay.
I still wasn't able to save as much. So then I met someone who, you know, we ended into another relationship with, right? And the tables kind of turned because he paid bills and he didn't want no money to pay bills. He didn't want help. And that, I thought that was strange. That's when I started really thinking to myself, that means that's his stuff.
Okay.
I didn't sit there comfortably and be like, well, I don't gotta pay no bills. I was like, if I don't help you pay, this is your stuff. And rightfully so it was. Okay. And I think that's what got the ball rolling on having to have my own space.
Okay.
But he being in that situation did allow me to start saving money.
Okay.
And so that's where the savings started happening. Believe it or not, so right now, I do not like having less than $10,000 in my savings account.
Okay, hold on. She does not like having less than $10,000 in her savings account.
And that's just cash, right? And that's not even, I'm not a shopper. Like, I so seriously, my eyebrows are not done right now. I'm not into
bags,
fashion, no, name brands. Like, I'm not into none of that.
Okay.
I don't frivolously spend.
Wow, and it's amazing to me because you have it to where if you wanted to be, you could be into those things, but you see a benefit in putting that money towards savings. Do you invest?
I do have a 401k.
Okay.
I'm not right now putting anything in because right now I'm just working. Okay, so right now I'm back to work. Right when I decided to take the time off from work, I had that. Well, I probably had $17K in the bank, but I knew if I allocated myself like $2,000 a month, that's what I was spending anyway when I was working because the other $2,000 was going in the bank.
Oh gosh.
Right?
Okay, there's so much to unpack right there. Okay, go ahead. We'll come back to it.
So I I was feeding myself $1,000 every 2 weeks, like I was getting paid. Right?
Okay.
And every 2 weeks when I was working, my take-home pay would be approximately $2K, right? Maybe $18, $50, something. I would put half of it in the bank. I literally lived off of half of what I made because my bills aren't so high. I don't have a car payment right now. Car is paid for. My mortgage is like dirt cheap. And then I have utilities, right? Mm-hmm. I don't have a ton of things I have to pay for.
Okay.
So I was able to live off half my income. So when I didn't have any income, I was still able to feed myself money like I had a job. Instead of putting $5,000 in a bank a month, you know you're going to spend it.
Okay.
I move over $1,000 every 2 weeks. And it was just like I was working. It was no break. My kids went to camp still, like they always do every single summer. Mm-hmm. We took trips. We went home to Connecticut in May. Like we do, my kids, I didn't want them to feel any physical change.
Okay.
For me being home.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That's awesome. That's